Right, our top story at this hour. Former President Jacob Zuma cited Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's public remarks about him in his latest filing to legally challenge the appointment of Zondo as the head of the Judiciary. Zuma filed a supplementary affidavit in the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria on Wednesday, the 15th of November 2023, stating that Zondo's remarks indicate, amongst other things, that he is unfit to hold office and that he unnecessarily indulges in political commentary. The former president approached the High Court earlier this year in a bid to have Chief Justice Zondo's appointment reversed. Zondo was appointed Chief Justice back in April 2022, following interviews with the Judicial Service Commission, the JSC. This was despite the JSC's recommending that Supreme Court of Appeal Judge President Zuma for the position. In the latest court papers, the former president includes utterances by the Chief Justice at the National Anti-Corruption Dialogue and a television interview, as well as the subsequent condemnation that followed. Zuma argues in papers that the conduct of the Chief Justice is ongoing and likely to be repeated unless the relief he seeks is granted. He goes on to state that lodging a complaint to the Judicial Service Commission, which is chaired by the Chief Justice, was proven to be a futile exercise. For the latest, let's be joined by our reporter, Canny Maphanga. Canny, good afternoon, and thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon to you and the viewers at home.
So, with this news coming in, perhaps you can give us some context as to how we got here. Really, what is this challenge all about?
Well, earlier this year, the former president filed papers in the Gauteng High Court to, reverse the appointment of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo as the head of the Judiciary. He filed papers on the grounds challenging the rationality of the president appointing him to that position, despite recommendations by the Judicial Service Commission that Zuma should be appointed to that position. So what brings us here today is that he's now filed a supplementary affidavit to include quote-unquote new facts to assist the court in coming to a conclusion in that legal bid. And some of those new facts include data behind the JC decision, as well as the latest utterances or public remarks by the Chief Justice. And it's important to note that at this stage, while there have been condemnations or concerns raised by different bodies regarding these remarks, we don't know of any official complaint that has been lodged with the JSC regarding that, and of course there isn't any finding with respect to those remarks with respect to the Chief Justice.
So it brings to the question about the role of the JSC and the JSC's decision as well, and how binding or not binding their recommendations are. Help us understand that further too.
Well, the JSC conducts interviews for various courts in the country. They make recommendations to the president regarding candidates that should be appointed. Sometimes we've seen the president make those appointments without any delay. However, with the Chief Justice interviews, we know from the data supplied in the court papers by the former president that the now Deputy Chief Justice, who was then the Judge President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, had significantly gotten much more votes than Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, according to the data that was supplied in those court papers. And of course, we know that she was recommended, but Zondo was appointed in April of 2022, despite that recommendation. So although the JC's views and their recommendations are considered to be important and valuable in the filling of judicial vacancies, they are nevertheless not binding on the president. But we have heard previously before from Judges Matter that it doesn't mean that because they're not binding that they can be completely disregarded. So, for example, if the JC raises concerns about particular candidates or things of that nature, they must be considered prior to the president coming to a decision, for example. And if the president makes an appointment despite concerns, should be followed maybe by an explanation. Otherwise, you can arrive to a situation such as this, where someone can turn to the courts to challenge the rationality of the president's decision.
So, Canny, given what was added in the supplementary remarks, where to from here? What else can we expect from here until then?
Well, We don't know when the matter will be set for hearing, but we know that papers have been filed and that following the response from the president that is opposing this application, that was then yesterday that the former president decided to file the supplementary affidavit with further information that he may feel could assist the court in him getting the relief that he seeks before them regarding this matter of the appointment of the Chief Justice.
Canny.
So we'll be looking at that quite closely as it continues to develop in the Gauteng High Court division.
All right, Canny, thank you for that explanation and for that update. Canny Maphanga bringing us the latest there. We've seen that showdown between former President Jacob Zuma challenging the appointment of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Of course, as it develops, we'll bring you the latest as it continues to unfold. So